Now, a couple of concerns that I had with the bill that I'm sure he will be able to explain. But first of all, I noticed that they go into, why do I keep picking that up? That they go into quite a bit of, well, no, actually it's not quite large, it's just very specific, that the obligations of the directors are spelled out here. Responsibility, it's in Section 7 of the bill, amending Section 6 of the original Act. Responsibility of directors and officers shall act honestly. Well, yes, thank you for putting that in the Act, because we don't always do that, and then we're in trouble, because somebody acts dishonestly and we have no way of calling that out and saying you were supposed to do something and you breached the Act. So, all right, act honestly and in good faith and with a view to the best interests of the Commission. Okay. And then it goes on to Part B, shall exercise the care, diligence, and skill that a reasonable and prudent person would exercise in comparable circumstances. My concern is that nowhere in here does it actually set up or indicate that this Commission would fall under the conflict of interest regulations and the Conflict of Interest Act that we have, which is a perfect example of what opposition members were kept trying to bring to the front of the recent review of the Conflict of Interest Act. In that, there are a number of paid and volunteer or stipend-paid chairs of boards, agencies, and commissions, and board members and executive staff who should be included under the Conflict of Interest Act and who are not. And I believe that this is another example. So I'd like to know if this Commission is covered by and would be involved in any of the important features of the Conflict of Interest Act. That is, the chair, the board members, or the executive staff would be required to file a disclosure form, that they would be required to adhere to a cooling-off period, and that they would be obligated to follow through on the major clauses of that Act. So that's another. I'd like that question answered. And I am really disappointed to see yet again, and I think this is going to mean piece of legislation or statute number 39, that is opting itself out of or declaring paramountcy over, or rather that it is not that the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act does not apply to this Commission and what it is doing for a period of 5 years. So I'm presuming there that it's trying to protect information that's going forth to Cabinet, but I think the real concern here is that, once again, we are diluting our Freedom of Information Act overall because we keep piecemealing it. It was intended, and the clause in the front of that Act says, this applies to everything. And little by little, this government keeps going, well, not this. Not that. No, not this piece of legislation, not this section in this statute either. And we are diluting, weakening the overall effectiveness of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act by doing this. We were specifically warned against that by the outgoing commissioner who went on at length about the situation that we had found ourselves in with the government repeatedly doing this. And I will repeat his concerns because this potentially is a lot of money for Alberta. It's potentially got huge possible conflict of interests involved in it, in that the people that are likely to be appointed to this board will move in a circle where many others are involved in the same sort of business, that they will have a very wide application of what they're doing here, and they are going to be playing with a whole whack of money. And the whole whack of money belongs to Albertans, and the resource belongs to Albertans. So what we're being told here is Albertans don't get to find out what this commission is doing, thinking of doing, or has done for a period of 5 years.